Keeks, Kyle, and Dan. I'm like the one Roger Clemens kid that didn't get a K on my name. It is Monday. We're here to grieve Keegs Green Bay Packers. We'll get into that. So he's doing this show with a heavy heart.
It's tough morning.
Any quick words before we proceed?
Love nothing. Sports were a mistake. Welcome to the show.
Love nothing. Life is a farce.
This makes me get an inch closer to understanding the heartbreak of the Blue Jays loss last year. You know, the Packers are the one team I let myself still be kind of crazy about. And I'll tell you what, why do we do this in sports? You know, we're 29 out of 30 years on average. You just end up miserable. It's not a good deal. It's not a good bet, not a good investment, but well, life goes on. It trudges on.
Sports atheism is the only religion I subscribe to, with the exception of course, the Toronto Blue Jays. I get the heartbreak that you felt, Keegan. I get it, but I don't have it for a football team, so I can't share that with you.
It's tough. At least the Chicago Bears are still going to bed tonight thinking about the Packers. You know, at least Ben Johnson is still an embarrassment. Going to bed thinking about Green Bay every single night. But life will come back around. It's okay. I reached a point midway through the third quarter where I thought, you know what? Even if they win this game, my God, this is not a Super Bowl team. So it's over with. Now it's just me and my bets. I get to watch the Bills from here on out. Mm-hmm. But man, just crushes you.
You sound like the guy that gets broken up with and knows it's coming. Yeah, I didn't really like her.
No, never did. Really never liked her at all. Actually, don't like the Packers one bit. But man, no, it's good. I have a renewed hatred in the Chicago Bears. My God, could I hate Ben Johnson more? I don't think I could. Caleb Williams may be a close number 2, but one of those weekends, fellas. And unfortunately, a great football game. Have to admit it. Just not the kind of grade I wanted.
So are Jays fans going to be thinking the same way when Kyle Tucker, if he signs somewhere else? Well, we didn't really want him. And my vision of how this is right now is this is strictly all the PR is in his agent's hand, because every news story that comes out about Kyle Tucker right now seems to be agent driven.
Yeah, there's lots of agent play this time of year. And it's simpler than people think. I think, well, I spend too much time online to start with, but every single little thing that trickles out, everyone on Twitter thinks that it's this mastermind play by a GM or by a lot of the time, it's just by a reporter who has a bunch of empty space to fill, and you're picking apart their wording because we're bored. I wish this was 30 years ago where we could all just shut up and wait for the newspaper to come the next day. But there's a lot of space to fill. And at this time of year, guys, I run into it because the Blue Jays have not done anything the last couple of weeks, but I have to keep doing my job. And I could make up a bunch of BS to keep it interesting. I'm not really interested in doing that. But you kind of have to keep talking about the same thing over and over. And if you change your wording just to keep it fresh for you, 100 people catch on and say, oh, what changed here? Sometimes nothing. But there's so much space to fill. You do see the agents getting involved a little more around now, especially coming out of this Bregman deal. And when we're talking about there being a bit more momentum in the market. Guys, I think we're seeing a lot of that with Cody Bellinger and the Yankees. That seems to be a very public negotiation through the media right now. And sometimes that's what an agent wants. They want the fan base, like the Red Sox, like the Yankees, to be saying, come on. We're the Red Sox. We're the Yankees. What do you mean we're not going to go that far? To put pressure on the team. Now, does that ever make anything budge? Not all that often. But you're seeing that now because we're less than a month until pitchers and catchers report. I think the Blue Jays' first workout is actually February 12. We're talking January 12. So it's coming up, fellas. There's a lot that still needs to happen. Like, we're so focused on Bichette and Tucker. There's a ton of names out there. Like big pitchers, a lot of other position players, ton of guys have not signed.
It seems to me as though I've seen Tucker repeatedly linked to the same teams, and now we're hearing more talk about the Mets and that. But is it not true that players who want to get paid go to the Mets, but players that want to win and win now, you have to be looking at the Dodgers or Blue Jays in order to immediately step into a team that can contend, because it ain't the Mets. They're a mess.
They are a mess, and I'm at the end of this, the Angels will come in and sign him or something, and
Yeah.
somebody will pretend they knew a mystery team was involved all along. But if you really want to win, I think that this league right now is getting a little top heavy, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it's sometimes it's fun. I know a lot of people won't agree with me, but sometimes it's fun when there's a superpower, this menace of a team to chase. It's not just the Dodgers now. I think the Blue Jays are getting up into that realm. But in terms of top tier competitive teams who you can really say are going to make a World Series run, it's not a massive group right now. There's a lot of good teams, but not a ton of great ones. So if you are Kyle Tucker, you have to balance how much that matters to you. And I don't think anyone's ever going to take less money, but it matters how far you take conversations down the road with certain teams. And all of that said, a year ago, the Blue Jays looked like they sucked. You know, they looked like a team that would be 500, maybe, give or take a few wins. And suddenly we're talking about them as a powerhouse in Major League Baseball. So it can change, but the Mets have that stink on them. You know, that Mets year after year, turning it over, not bringing back Alonso, which I don't love. Like I don't love their offense and where it's going right now. I think the Mets guys are a good team to hold up against the Blue Jays to show how money can be spent. The Blue Jays have done a much better job of spending their money at this point. So it's man, tough to be a Mets fan. I know it was fun when their new owner came in, and it was my oh my, here's this rich guy who tweets and loves the Mets. I don't know. It's it's more important to win than be a charming owner, and it's a tough time in Queens, man. It's unfortunate. I love Queens. You know, the Mets are a fun team when they're good, but they are not right now.
You mentioned a lot of unsigned pitchers. I'm like, there can't be that many. I looked it up. I stopped counting at 50.
Yeah.
There are 50 named pitchers, like pitchers that you know their name. What's the term I would say there? Name
Household
recognition.
names.
There's name
Yeah.
recognition to these pitchers, and there's over 50 of them still out there.
Yeah, man. Like Framber Valdez, I think Ranger Suarez still going. Like pitchers you have heard of.
Yes.
And I think all of us, not just in Toronto, but across Major League Baseball, are so focused on Kyle Tucker and Bo Bichette and until yesterday, Alex Bregman, that you forget there's all these other players out there who, I mean, God, might end up being just as, if not more important than these big signings. But I think, guys, that we're seeing still some of the effect of the uncertainty beyond 2026 with the CBA, what it's going to look like, and teams being hesitant to spend big just yet. We're going to see it happen. Every year we say, wow, what a slow market. Then boom, 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 right up ahead, spring training. Guys will sign, they'll get paid, but it's such a logjam right now, man. I hope that Bregman breaks that up a little bit, but I hope that Dylan Cease would start an early market, and he didn't. I hope that Tyler Rogers and some of the, Diaz, some of the reliever signings would kickstart that market. They really didn't. It's been slow and kind of segmented. There's never been like a sense of momentum, guys, where Bregman signs and then boom, boom, boom. You see the next three go off the board. It's got to happen soon because baseball is coming. But again, we see this every year for myself working in baseball, or all of us have friends who are kind of new to baseball or getting into it because the Jays run, and they say, "Why is this offseason suck to watch?" It's a slow burn, man. Different strokes, but it's got to come eventually.
With Bregman going to the Cubs, it seems like they now have a lot of room open to bring in a Bo Bichette type, and now we hear him linked to the Phillies. The longer this goes on, the more it just seems as though he is no longer going to be a Toronto Blue Jay. And that's, of course, speculation, but it just feels like if he was staying, they would have gotten this done already.
Yeah, especially after Okamoto, it feels less likely. I think the Okamoto deal shifted the likelihood towards Tucker. I think very obviously. Now with Bichette, for him to come back to the Blue Jays, either his number would need to come down, or he would need to be open to something like Bregman's last deal, the shorter term deal with higher average value annually, which we've talked about before. I don't think that will happen. This market can surprise you always, but the Blue Jays, I think right now, if Tucker is doable, that's more attractive at this point. And where Bichette goes becomes really damn important because that could be Boston. that could be New York. If it's Philly, probably good for the Blue Jays. Get him out of the AL. It's the narrative, guys, I've enjoyed this week is that him and Don Mattingly are best buddies, and that's going to sway where he signs. Like that, they get along. That was never a narrative in Toronto. I've gotten texts from people around the game because it's come out now. Like Mattingly being in Philly is going to draw Bichette there. I don't think so. Like they have a good relationship. They respect each other. They're similar types of guys, very serious baseball people. But that's not the tiebreaker I think it's being made out to be. I just think it's another wrinkle in all of this. But if the Blue Jays can get Bo out of the American League where they don't have to face him, maybe a win at this point. Door's not totally closed at all. I think the Blue Jays are still both in on him and Tucker. But Tucker, I think, just logistically and very obviously is a better fit right now.
If I said this to a Jays fan, hey, the Jays over the weekend signed a guy that hit 31 home runs in his rookie season, and his rookie season was only 2019. Good signing, right? Well, he dropped off the face of the earth after that. We are referring to Eloy Jimenez, a player that the Blue Jays signed.
These are my favorite type of offseason signings. Like it's just, you talk about it for a day. Will I ever cover Eloy Jimenez playing a baseball game? Unlikely. We'll see. But fellas, when you go back, where is it? 2019, the top prospect rankings on MLB Pipeline here. Number 1, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Number 2, Fernando Tatis Jr. Very good ball players. Number 3, Eloy Jimenez.
Yeah, we got him.
We got him. He was supposed to be the next big slugger in Major League Baseball. And he looked like it for a minute with the White Sox. Now has fallen off completely. Was not a good late year last year, which he finished with the Orioles, I believe. But, man, why not? Okay, minor league signings are free. They're never bad. And if there's any pathway for Jimenez to play for the Blue Jays, it's that kind of backup first base type of role that we've talked about a couple of times recently that guys like, Daniel Vogelbach, Justin Turner, Brandon Belt have played over the years. Ty France last year. If Jimenez can play something like that, the bench bat type of guy, just trying to look where he played defensively last year, but a bit of outfield, a lot of DH.
Well, can you explain to me, while I'm Baseball Reference, they have his photo with him wearing a Tampa Bay hat, but he's never played for the Rays.
That must have been a minor league signing that never made it anywhere type of deal. You start collecting jerseys at a certain point. But I enjoyed one of the reports was that he's lost 20 pounds. So we're already getting into best shape of your life season. I mean, if you're trying to play in the big leagues, that best shape of your life story is never really one that matters, frankly, unless a guy drops 100 and changes his life. But we'll see. It's a fun piece to have, but he's very much blocked by the outfield depth, by Santander at Springer at the DH level. But there's nothing wrong with having a guy that has some raw talent. And for every 100 swings on a former top prospect, 99 of them will not go anywhere. Every once in a while, once a decade, you hit it rich with a guy. Maybe this can be that. We'll see. But even if he can start the year down in AAA Buffalo and spend a couple of months with the Bisons, I think that's a good thing. See what you've got there. If by midseason an injury pops up, sure. But man, oh man, if you had told 2019 me that the Blue Jays had acquired Jimenez in 2026, I'd say, wow, that must be like a Hall of Fame track, $300 million. But not quite. Actually, when you look down that list in 2019, number 8, Kyle Tucker. Number 11, Bo Bichette. There's a lot of talent on that list. Number 21, Dylan Cease. Maybe they're just collecting the 2019 top prospect team set at this point, but we'll see where it goes. You know what this is for me, fellas? March 14th, I'm on day 35 of spring training, and I want to die in Florida, and I'm going to need a story. There will be a day that I write the Eloy Jimenez story, and all will be right in my world.
Can the name of your next book be titled I Want to Die in Florida?
That's going to be a chapter someday, fellas. It's coming up way too fast.
And Keegan, if Jimenez ends up in Buffalo with the Bisons, him and his teammates may be treated to Buffalo Sabres playoff games for the first time in what seems like 650 years. But I want to stick with the minor leagues for just a second here, because you mentioned earlier in the show that the Jays are now one of the elite superpowers in baseball, clearly with the Dodgers. But where the Dodgers are definitely besting them and everyone else amongst an executive poll taken, sorry, amongst a poll taken amongst executives in MLB, they clearly have the best farm system, and the Jays appeared nowhere on that list. How do they build for the future without becoming the Yankees who simply bid for the present day?
Doesn't that just suck? To see the Dodgers having a good
Yes.
because unless you're a hardcore baseball fan, 99% of casual baseball fans look at this and think the Dodgers must not have a single prospect. Unfortunately, they do. And guys, it's not going to be the most exciting thing to talk about for fans, but I think it's one of the most important that the Blue Jays need to nail player development now. And they did a great job of that in 2025. Like they took a huge step forward, and I think that they deserve a ton of credit for that. You saw that with Trey Savage, but there were also a ton of success stories down the system that Blue Jays fans should be encouraged as hell about. And it's really changed. But going forward, guys, this is how you navigate the collective bargaining tax and things getting expensive. Because where the Blue Jays are right now, if they were to go out and sign Kyle Tucker, you're paying almost a 90% tax, I think it is, on top of that, because they're above these thresholds in the CBT. So it's complicated. There's a lot of math involved, but when you're spending like the Blue Jays and Dodgers, you're paying more and more in taxes. The way to avoid that is to develop guys like Addison Barger, is to acquire and develop guys like Ernie Clement, Braden Fisher and Mason Fluharty in the bullpen, Trey Savage. If you can do that, those 5 players I just mentioned there, just for the sake of an example group, what are you paying them? A combined $8-10 million. If you had to replace all of them out in free agency, you're blowing tens of millions. So even small success stories, developmental wise, like Braden Fisher, having a reliever you've developed yourself instead of spending 8 million bucks on one, that puts you on the other side of these tax lines. That saves your ass. Really, really does. And the Dodgers have done a great job of that over the years. It doesn't get talked about enough because their big spending is the headliner. The Blue Jays need to do that now, man. It's so important, and it's the only way they're going to survive spending this much money. So this is a really, really big year, and they're going to need some position players to come through like you Savage did last year.
Let's get back to your Packers.
Oh,
Keegs, they're gone. Do you have the ability or desire now to go all in on the Buffalo Bills?
I'll be a Bills man now, both for the sake of my friends liking them and for a futures bet. I won't tell you which one I care more about, but it's man. But what a tough day of watching football. It's if I may return for a second to Ben Johnson being a loser and the Bears thinking about the Packers so much. If Matt LaFleur had have beat the Bears and was in the locker room saying "F the Bears," I'd be saying the same thing. Grow up. Stop thinking about Big Brother. But man, they're stuck. The Packers are in a place, and I think this guy's about Matt LaFleur. The Packers have so many things going on about this team right now that are good enough to keep as is, but not great enough to actually win it all. So it's a really tough place to be, and it's an unenviable place to be. No first round picks the next couple of years. God bless Micah Parsons, sorry, but no first rounders coming up. And I've got to jump on the Bills now, fellas. And I kind of love that Bills game because that's what it looks like when you say, you know what, we don't do much else, but we have Josh Allen. Screw it. Yeah, like it's
By
your
the way,
only way
your
forward.
description of the Packers just described the Maple Leafs. Like they're good enough to be there, or they aren't good enough to win it.
It's a dangerous place to be, guys. Now, I've had this conversation a lot just about Matt LaFleur the last couple of days, if they'll keep him or not, whether they should. And I think he's a very good coach. But if you get stuck with the 12th best coach or the 15th best quarterback or whatever it is for your individual team, it's a dangerous place to be because you can get caught being good enough. But unless you are a great team, you're not going to go anywhere. And it's a very tough place to be. But that's what I like about watching that Bills game, guys. They have one thing about their team that is truly great. elite that no one else, I don't think, in the National Football League has, and that's Josh Allen, man. And he probably needs 5 surgeries today, but they won. And has the playoffs been this wide open in years, guys? Like, I don't think the Bills are good, but I don't know if I care right now because they have Josh Allen. And this could be a playoffs where you just need that one guy, you need that one advantage. And it's exciting all of a sudden, we'll see.
They've got number 1 seed Denver next week. I'm not convinced they're good. Over in the national, wow. In the other conference, the Seahawks seem like a clear number 1 to me. They've proven themselves throughout the season against the best competition. I don't think I believe in Denver, and I think they're beatable.
And Bo Nix didn't exactly pick up momentum as the
Yes.
season went on. And RJ Harvey, I love him as a player, but he works much better in tandem with someone like J.K. Dobbins. So if they can shut down one facet of that offense or cut out Cortland Sutton, however this is going to look, there's a chance there. And man, when I look around the rest of the playoffs, unless Darnold lays an egg, like I do love Seattle and I love that defense, but the Patriots, who we've talked about a lot over the weeks, they didn't inspire me. That game sucked. I
Yeah.
mean, my God,
Terrible.
I had Chargers 3.5, and it was just the worst viewing experience of my life. But it felt like the Patriots had 2 extra defensive backs in the field. It was rough to watch. Keenan Allen did not help. But looking around the league, I mean, the Rams just almost got knocked off by Bryce Young. I mean, goodness.
Yeah.
I don't know who the powerhouse is right now. So if you're a Bills fan, I think that's a good thing. Like, we all know who and what the Bills are, which is a flawed team that has an elite quarterback and a very, very, very good running back. But when you look around the rest of the league, it's kind of messy. And that's a good place to be if you're a
Well,
team that has some upside, I guess. Man, it's not much of a sell, but it's better than I felt about the Bills a week ago.
you know what team's fan base is saying it's our year?
Who's
The
this?
Bears.
The Bears. Man, they got to have one every
100%.
once
They're
in a
saying,
while.
we've got it now. We've
Every
got it.
once in a while. And man, even though it pains me, that was such a good win. I mean, my
It was a good
God.
football game.
That throw by Caleb down the left sideline, it kills me. But man, that was good. And man, did the Packers play weak football. That's the difference between, I think it really showed me, and it changed how I view coaching in the NFL. The difference between being a good game planner and offensive planner, which I think Matt LaFleur absolutely is, and a coach who can adapt and change as the game goes on. They had a wicked first half game plan. They dominated the Bears. And the second half came out and they coasted. It was brutal. And man, oh man, I don't know what I'm cheering for, more LaFleur or not, but we'll see, fellas. But man, the Bears, if they can get a stop defensively, like, again, pains me to say, but Caleb Williams is so ridiculously talented. And the wheels can come off, sure, but if they stay on, it's impressive.
Well, next weekend, they will be having a rematch with the San Francisco 49ers of one of the best games of this past regular season, which the 49ers won on the last play of the game on a defensive stop, which is rare for them. But they go into next weekend even more injured again as Kittle, it looks like he's going to be out, possibly with the ankle again. That'll be an
That's
interesting
ACL.
football
I think
game.
he's done for the year.
Oh,
Or
he-
it
oh,
was
he
an
did. I didn't-
Achilles.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that was an
that's it.
Achilles.
There's no one left then.
Yeah.
That's it. They got nobody.
But he got the bottle of
McCaffrey.
tequila to the locker room. Do you see that? The owner brought down a bottle of tequila for George Kittle in the locker room after he blew his Achilles. And it
That
was
point.
reported after the game that bottle was empty. So that's one way to deal with an injury. But that sucks. I love George Kittle,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
And without him, I don't know what the 49ers will do, but we'll see.
Keegs, without you, we don't know what we do. Have a great day, gentlemen.